talk to you today about overtraining and a little bit about my thoughts and how I might be able to encourage you or remind myself about what I've gone through. So, for the past several weeks, I've been tracking myself in 2-week intervals. What's happened is I've seen my body change up and down, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. So, in the beginning, I noticed myself start on a bad trend. I was gaining weight, gaining body fat, losing skeletal muscle mass. And so I'm like, oh no, I need to go and get an in-body. I need to get a body scan and see what's going on. So that's what I did, and I found out that this was about the time when I was doing quite a bit of cardio. Enough cardio to where it was too much cardio. So I'm not against cardio, but I need to tell you, sometimes you can do too much cardio. Destiny. You need to remember that. You can do too much cardio. So I started doing HIIT a while back, and that's what I was doing. I was going actually probably for about 25 minutes HIIT cardio, which is pretty hardcore. And then I would lift for probably at least an hour and a half afterwards. And I was going like heavy lifting for me. So I was eating about 1,700 calories or so, and found out from someone who's a lot more knowledgeable than me that I needed to cut down on the cardio from 5 days a week to only 3 days a week. What? Only 3 days a week. For how long? Only 15 minutes. So I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, when you think that you're like going hardcore and you're trying to like do a good job in the gym and you're trying to lift heavy and like give it everything, like that's good, but I've learned, or I'm learning, that sometimes I guess we're going to have to be careful with that, or I'm going to have to be careful with that. So I wanted to record that and let myself know, and anyone else out there know, you can overtrain. So what happened to me is I needed to cut back down on my cardio and eat at least 1,700 calories a day, which I'm 5'3", which is pretty small, short, and that was with lifting, you know, and I probably still went to the gym 5 times a week, but I just wanted to say I had to make sure that I ate all my calories. So I did that for 2 weeks straight, and I was really sensitive to my diet, tracked everything, and after 2 weeks I had lost, no, I was the same in the beginning, which I'll pull it up right now because I can do it while we're talking. So my muscle mass, my skeletal muscle mass was the exact same from 2 weeks, and my body fat mass went down just barely, but my weight went down. And so he was like, do that again. And so I did, and when I did all that stuff all over again, I went down in body weight, I went up in skeletal muscle mass, and down in body fat mass, and down in body fat percentage. My body fat percentage went down from 20% to 17.5%. So I just want to say, like, I was actually overtraining, and I needed to make sure that I was eating enough. Like, the first 2 weeks that I did that, I think my body was adjusting to it. And then the second 2 weeks, it was kind of like, okay, like she's not in starvation mode. Okay, like yes, she's exerting a lot of energy, but she's going to have the replenishment that she needs. So, you know, she's going to have the protein that she needs. She's going to have the carbs that she needs, or the fats that she needs, so Destiny doesn't have to tap into her muscle. And so again, I thought that was really interesting, but I just wanted to share that because it's encouraging me. That I'm kind of figuring something out, but I'm still stumped a little bit because I did it again, I sort of followed it. This is where fitness gets a little bit, not sticky, but you have to really watch what you're doing, because I stayed on that same diet. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. It's just like that same pattern. And what happened is I changed a few things. I tweaked a few things. And my weight went up after 2 weeks, which was not what I wanted. My skeletal muscle mass went down almost a whole point. And my body fat mass went back up from 21 to 25. So I think I know what the problem was. So the next 2 weeks after that, I didn't stick exactly to the plan. There was about 100 to 200 calories at the end of almost every day that I didn't eat. And that was in probably fat macros like oils, butters, creams. Right now I don't eat a lot of dairy, but I wanted to tell you that when I went back after 2 weeks of leaving out, just kind of being flexible with those end macros, like leaving out some of my calories of the day, I actually ended up gaining weight and gaining body fat and losing a little bit of skeletal muscle mass. So I didn't lose a whole point of muscle mass, but I want to tell you, I didn't get the results that I wanted. And for the past 6 weeks, I know for sure the past 4 weeks, I've had a cheat meal every week, and I can have whatever I want, however much I want. And this past Saturday, Friday, I had a Christmas party, and I was up till 3 in the morning, and we had so much junk food, and I mean the whipped cream was layered, it was bad. And so I had a lot of junk food, and the next day on Saturday, I felt so bad. I had a whole nother cardio session. I threw it in there. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make up for that. Such bad cheat meal. And then I was just like, oh no, because I got in trouble from the knowledgeable one, the coach, basically saying you can't just throw in an extra session of cardio and you can't not eat your calories, because that's probably why I had a bad, but just not the results that I wanted for these past 2 weeks, because I added extra cardio and I wasn't eating enough calories. Apparently it would be better for me to overeat a little bit if I'm training that hard than to undereat, and then to throw in another session of cardio. He was like, And so I'm just like, wow. So what I'm going to do is go back to what I did 2 weeks before and stick to the only 3 days a week of cardio for only 15 minutes and stick to the diet. Be well fed. Don't skip out on my calories. Don't leave out my fats, which originally I was doing really high protein and really high carb and really low fat. And since then I've switched that, and I have to get used to eating more fats and having the nutrients that I need. So we're going to see how this works out, and I'm going to stick with it. I wanted to record it, one, because I need to remember all of this so I can go back and say, hey, that worked for me, that didn't, so I can try it again and get consistent. And two, to help other people with the knowledge that I'm gaining, because you might be overtraining if you're listening to this video, and maybe that's keeping you from getting the gains that you need, especially with the cardio. We don't need to do too much cardio if we want to see our muscle gains. We have to make sure that we're eating enough protein. So I'm still learning a lot, and I'm so thankful for those who are helping me along my journey, and I just want to pass along the knowledge. Don't overtrain. Make sure that you lift up someone else and keep lifting in the gym. Okay, we'll talk later.